actually went ocean kayaking for the first time. That was interesting.
Oh. Any sharks?
No, unfortunately, no.
No sharks.
I was looking for baby sharks.
All right, my name is Romy Pritchett. I'm the owner of RC Auto Detail and Carpet Cleaning. I've been at it for 18 years. Previous to that, I worked for Best Buy, Circuit City, Office Depot. I was a sales trainer. Truly, I call this how to suck less networking, because I just taught them how to build relationships, how to talk to people, and it was over time. So I taught the Circuit City. The only reason they hired me to be a store manager in Cheyenne, Wyoming, is because they wanted me as a trainer, and that's the only way they could have fit me in their budget. So I traveled all over the United States doing training. So sales training, client relationship, a little bit about exactly what we're going to be talking about today is who's a client, what are they, how does that work, what does it look like. I spent 10 years training for Business Networking International throughout the state of Colorado. So I did their member success program, their advanced MSPs, and kind of just traveled around with them for a bit while I was doing the rest of my life, which is detailing cars and cleaning carpet. So with this, everything that I'm telling you, I do all the time. Every day, it's direct business stuff that I do every day. So it's what I do in my business. It's how I network. It's how I close. It's how I do sales. It's all the same in one. So that is a little bit about me. Now we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping. So there's coffee. Spence is a coffee making champ. So there's coffee behind him. There's some cups, paper cups there. Water, there's more behind it. If you guys would rather have like a soda, there's some in the refrigerator. Help yourself. That's right around the corner. Restrooms are straight back, left and right. And then the door is here. So if I get too boring, you can slide out the side, or if you go around, it'll let you out back front too. Back door won't trip an alarm either. So if you disappear, I get it. You're all adults. So if you need to get up and use the restroom, you don't need to ask. Just go do it, disappear, come back. We're not going to stop. We only have an hour and a half, so it's going to be a pretty quick. Luckily, you sat up front, so you're going to learn faster than everybody else in here. Information goes to the back. All right, so now we'll get, not funny anymore. I think it's the third time I've done it. Yeah. So this is number 3 of 12 classes I'm teaching through the end of the year. Each one's just a little bit on a different topic. And to start with, you'll see there's 2 sides to your paper. One's going to be a note-taking side. The other is going to have some sections where I'll have you work in pairs. And we're going to go through the pains, problems, predicaments that you solve, what it is, common objections, and then the types of clients that we're looking for. At the bottom is the next class. So it is called the conversion. So the conversion, kind of what you do, where's it come from, what does that look like, what is conversion? So it's called numbers. It'll be going through numbers. But super exciting numbers, because the more you convert, the higher your conversion rate is. I'm going to give you reasons and how to increase conversion rates. So that way you're getting more specific clients in. So it's a little higher. So you can, wherever your conversion rate now, I'll help you find that. If it's at 30, 40, 50, some of you maybe 60%, we can get it up a little bit more. All right, any questions before we get going? Awesome. So I put up a little bit of info, so you've had it here, so you didn't have to write it back down. You're willing to take a picture of it. So we're going to talk about the closing process. What does it look like? Right here is going to be the main things we'll go through is how to create and build trust, because that's going to help with your close. So if you can build trust with your client, it's trust, confidence, credibility. If you can build those 3, that's how you get it to close. If they don't trust you, they're not going to buy from you. And truly, they buy from you. They're not buying from your company, they're buying from you. So build that trust. That's going to be knowing your products and service. You need to know what you do. Sometimes more important, what you don't do, because that's where we're going to create failure. So know what you do, know what you don't do, and then it's going to come to the point you understand their pain points. What are you solving for your client? As soon as we can figure out the problems you solve or the situations they're in, what you're going to do, we're going to build that trust. Then we're going to talk a little bit about objections. This is part of the sales and closing process. This has to be in there. You need to know what your common objections to people not purchasing your products or service, because we all have them. We all know. Hopefully you've been through it before, and they listen. Objection, it's going to happen. Why aren't they buying from you? They don't have money. They don't have time. They don't have a place to be, right? Next is creating urgency. In order to close a sale, there's got to be a reason to close a sale. And there's got to be a time frame. I say create a sense of urgency or fear of missing out, so FOMO. You give them a reason to do it now and not wait. Because sometimes we wait, we lose, and then oftentimes, just like we're in this room, we're going to get this positive vibe. I'll get you guys involved and created, and then we're all get on the same wavelength. Once we're on the same wavelength, we're thinking together, then we can create urgency. Why do you want to sign up for the next class before this one is over? Because it's less expensive. And then asking for the sale. This seems like it's going to be really simple to ask. It is what we probably one of the top things. So we're going to have two up here top. So asking for the sale and follow-up are the two things we suck most at. It's nuts. It's crazy. We don't want to ask people, okay, are you ready to buy? Is it time to buy? How do we get you to sign up? Sign here. Next is going to be make sure the process is simpler. The harder it is to do business with you, the less likely we're going to do business with you. Make it simple. Final, it's going to be, we're going to talk about follow-up real quick. And then we'll come back over to the other side, and these are going to be I said 6 types of customers we're probably going to deal with every day. So on the back side, we'll go to the first bit is going to be able to build that trust and confidence that we talked about. A lot of that is just going to be, hopefully, if you're getting referred to. So the last class was how to build your tribe and get referrals. Once you got the referral, hopefully there's a transfer of trust. When someone refers you, there should be a transfer of trust between the two of you, so that can help a little bit. The other part is knowing what your products are, your services are, and what solutions you're solving. So on the back, we're going to take a couple of minutes. You can just pair up with someone next to you. So we'll stop. So just split it 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and you too. I tried to split you up. So we're going to go over the top one. Yeah, you're good to go. Yeah. So you can get together. I'm going to give you 4 to 5 minutes. You're going to fill up the top portion. So that number 1 and 2, pains, problems, and predicaments on that sheet that's next to you. So right on top. So what I'd like you to do is explain it to each other. So talk with Losha about what do you solve? What are the pains and problems that you solve, and vice versa. For to close. And then the next one's going to be, we'll go over the common objections. So just take turns and we'll switch over. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes on that side, be enough to where, then we'll switch you over and do 5 on the other.
Getting them to see like
what state you're in. A lot of the time, that means for us really during this
right, that's when it's the initial
so a lot of our plans is like the initial period. It's not really at the end, because by that time they take care of that kind of stuff. So if there's any sort of pains at the end, it's usually how is this back, and
So that takes it from your pains from the client, and what you're talking about at the end is going to be your objections.
Okay.
So normally that you run into the second part of any of those, whatever happens on the end, that's usually what your next client's going to use as an objection.
Okay.
Dude, you know what? They went through, cleaned it all out, but dude, they left the wall tore up. They left trash all over the floor. They got dirt in my driveway, mud stacked up. Those are objections you're going to overcome.
Okay.
So the pains is their pain. You know what their pain is? Their house stinks because mold started setting in, or mildew. We don't call it mold because then insurance doesn't pay. Mildew. Yeah, mildew set in, so there's an odor. That's a pain. Dude, I can help you with that. Or you can't find that odor, right?
Yeah.
So that would be a pain. So on yours, well, hey, let's have you jump in with these guys right here.
So I just put trust issues with.
Oh, you've got it either side, right? So you get your setup right here. So jump in. No, you're good. And then you just want to let them know what you guys are working on. No. So.
And I also might have to really pick up my daughter from volleyball, so it's a touch in.
You're right. Yeah.
But a lot of the time you're dealing with, hey, we're doing a custom project. This is what it's going to be outlaid at. And that's one of the pains and problems that you got to bring up is finances. When you're doing custom stuff and you're not just putting your stock or cheaper stuff in, you got to explain to them why it's important to have it, what the longevity is and stuff like that. So I think I solved those problems pretty good, when I'm trying to close them.
So this is their clients, right? So their problem is what?
Their problem is, I think they want a clear financial, what's it going to look like. And I've always run into that.
So meaning on, when we hear pain, I want to hear you. So this pain is a problem they have, and there's a solution you provide. A problem they might have in your world is their kids turned into a teenager, moved into the basement, and they're all sharing one bathroom.
Okay.
That's a pain and a problem, right?
Yeah.
Your solution, so it's anything you have the solution to. So your solution is what?
Basically just
Put a frickin' bathroom in the basement.
yeah.
So that's what I mean by problem and solution. So there's always a solution. This is their problem. So you're whatever you solve. So it's a
Oh, so that would be like water damage, fire damage. Just
they walked in their basement. It's squishy and it's starting to stink.
Yeah.
That's a problem they've got. So there's a problem, then you create the solution. So just to clarify, so we're on the same page. So when I'm talking about the pains, problems, predicaments, that's a pain or a problem your client has that you have a solution to. So a problem here is that their house smells funky because of mildew. The solution is you can go in and eradicate it, right? The problem he has is that a family of 4, a kid just hit 16, moved into the basement, they share one bathroom. He does basement refinishes so he can add a second bathroom so not everybody's clogged into one. Problem and solution. So pains and predicaments. All right, I'll let you keep on. Going down is going to be right into it. So I think between when you're talking, you'll see the objections that you would have, or you help each other see those. Yeah. So you'll go through objections as well. Yeah, because it's going to be, as you're talking about the problems and how you solve them, you're going to hear the objections, and then you want to put those down because that's what you need to address with that next client. Yeah, slide in, join their group, and just let her catch her up to speed.
Maybe convenient. Yeah. And then not enough offices, but then
You guys doing all right?
Yeah. I'm just taking some notes.
Did you find some pains?
Yeah.
So give me, what's one of yours? What are you hearing?
Mine. So people not having a solid, not only a solid, but not a realistic plan on how to buy a home, how to retire, how to go on vacation. Right? I want to buy a home. Okay, well, where are you getting the money from? I don't know.
Right. How do I come up with 5,000? So your solution is you can help them save for that, right?
Yeah, my solution is we'll put a plan together so that you're saving $200 a month, and by 20 months, however many months.
So in 4 years, you can put a down payment and buy a house or whatever it is. Or you give them that timeline and go faster. If that's your solution. And then what you should be hearing out of this is objections. So that's why I want 2 different folks. So you can let him know, I don't make enough to put money aside. Okay, that's going to be an objection. I don't make enough to save. So that's what you're identifying for each other, what those objections are, and throw those in.
All right. Okay. For you, it's going to be Right. And price of services.
You guys are good. You got the master sitting in the middle of you.
And honestly, depends a lot of that. So let me ask you this, because I've had a brief contact with Restoration. Not directly, but Blue Sky is
I went there for
Okay, so I live in the HOA where the 4209, where the fire happened recently in the southeast Fort Collins. I don't know if my HOA shopped around for the restoration company, or if they were the first on the scene or what. I wasn't really involved with it. And I think that there's a meeting with contractors coming up next week to see what the process is. I don't think nobody is swimming around or anything, so the place is still delivered. I'm just saying that because they trust.
And then there's urgency. And you don't have to create the urgency. It's there.
So I guess the connection would be if we could get you in the same room to ask for the sale with the HOA.
Absolutely. That's our goal, basically, is the networking and
Yeah.
development.
And so this is where his second part would come in, is going to be objections. What are you seeing potentially come from that? Because, or you could maybe help him with what are those objections going to be for you? We're not going to work. We don't work with 360 Fire and Flood. You know what? They're not our preferred vendor. Yeah. What is that's going to happen when you get
It's trust issues. It's reputation.
getting introduced to an HOA? Most of them are like, dude, you're not on our preferred list.
Yep.
We don't know you. We use Surf Pro. You're like, wait, dude, you can use it, right? So how do you overcome? So that's what I'm hoping you guys talk to each other and those objections come up. Yes. And then the same in return on your end when you have a homeowner that you want to go. What are some objections you're going to get if you want to turn their front yard into a garden? No, that's not allowed by our HOA. You're like, wait a minute. Actually, they've changed. The city has changed the rules, which HOAs need to follow, right? Allowing. So see where that works. So you help them understand the objection, which is our goal, so that he knows your objections and you guys clearly know them. And then now we become, shit, well, it's easy to refer to you because I know what people are normally going to object to.
Sure.
So same for you. So that's what this is for, is kind of build that up. And then as soon as we're done, we got a few more minutes here. I'm going to have you guys share some of those. So if you have an objection, and that way it's easier. We all understand your business. What's your objection? What am I going to fight when I try to get you business? Give me those common ones, and it makes it better for all of us. All right, a couple more minutes, and then we're going to share a little bit. So make sure you at least have one problem or pain that you solve, and then one objection that you can overcome. That way we can share with each other. It'll give us a little more idea on how we can help you, how we can refer to you, how we can help you close sales, because we can maybe overcome those when we do the referral process. So just make sure you got one of each so that we can share them.
Yeah, I think an objection that could possibly be, let's say they had a previous one, lost an old home, different company, did something and they messed up, so kind of getting through that objection of that. Well, how do I?
Well, the last person trashed my house, and so I'm not going to use another company.
Yeah.
So how do you overcome that? We're going to take care of it. You know what? But at this point, you're trying to overcome it so that we don't know. Hey, dude, when we come in and take care of it, we take care of all of it.
Yep. Full service kind of thing.
Right. So really what you want to do is explain to him how this works, so that when he's talking to somebody, if he gets an objection, at least he can help you overcome one. What you need, bud? Tape? Yep. Same ones you had. So that's what you want to do. So we're going to share one problem you solve and then one objection and how you overcome it. Because what we want to do is we want all of them to know how this works, so you get a referral. And then we can close the sale. Because if they leave you with a bunch of objections, they may never get to the point, no, I don't want to work with them. Dude, I don't. Tell me why not. And here's your solution to that.
So what are the objections?
You guys done? Sweet. You guys can jump ahead and do what types of clients you're looking for.
Oh, we haven't gone over that yet.
You haven't, really. I haven't talked about the 5 types. Do any of that look familiar up there? New, potential, impulse, discount, angry, loyal clients. And then how you close them. Nothing yet.
When I go to like on Monday, I'm gonna spend the day out there.
Potential. My board writing.
Board writing gives you no.
But now I
I
know
thought
that
it said Bittenschön. I have terrible.
Bitteschön. Dankeschön. It's because I've had to learn to write left-handed.
Those are the kind, you're right. Those are the
I had that
kind-
stroke, and now I've got to figure it out.
Which one we want, the kind of client.
Those are
we want.
the clients you already have. Then how do you address them?
So, like, you want us to say, what, a new client, how do I address them?
Or how would you address them? Yeah.
And a potential client, how I would address them.
Uh-huh.
So
What we're trying to do all together is get past the point of just getting referrals and you can't do anything with them. So I want you to know the different types of clients so you know how to work that client, close that client.
6 questions here then.
Did I put 5 on? Yeah.
Fix it.
Right? I know I was writing it. I was like, right? You see that? I was just seeing if you noticed.
Oh, I didn't even mean that.
Oh.
Okay, how would we handle this client?
Yeah. Number in my head and number what came on the boards, 2 different things. Because we actually, our mind runs like 400% faster than our hand can write or we can listen to. And so I'm already knowing what I want up there. It's just got to do it 2-3 times to get it out of my noggin and onto paper. All right, start wrapping it up. We're going to share a little bit. All right, as I see silence, I'm sure we're getting closer. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at what you've got. We're going to go around the room. The idea here is to help each other learn to close and what your common objections are, because a lot of times in the referral process, this will help us overcome those for you while we're doing the referral so we don't get stopped. So I'm going to have you do share one of your pain points that you can correct, your problem solution, one objection, and how you overcome it. You're in the hot seat.
Oh man! All right.
Up front.
One common objection we get is everybody likes to dabble in water and fire and just restoration in general, but not a lot of people actually know what they're doing. So we run into a lot of customers who have bad previous experiences with bad companies. So a lot of the time, a lot of the things that I hear is previous mitigation guys, they left my house a mess. They left dust in the driveway from a dumpster. They left demo debris all over our house. It wasn't fully cleaned. There wasn't no dust management. And a lot of the time, it's just as simple as either setting a containment for dust mitigation or just as simple as at the end of the job, power washing the driveway. Just taking those little extra steps just to make sure the customer's happy in the end and that they're comfortable and ready for us to make it all pretty again.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, good job. Good job. No shot.
To expand on, he kind of mentioned it earlier, but since I'm a contractor and I do custom, I do kind of go in and I can talk with a range of clients, and the housing functionality is really what I kind of accommodate to, and just how you flow throughout the house and how you're able to use it. And I find that bigger companies kind of just do one thing and they don't really do that custom side of things. So that's kind of one problem I think I solve.
All right. An objection that you have, generally?
Objection, and I kind of discussed it, and it was a great one. A lot of people get a lot of bad tastes come from different companies, bad contractors, bad experiences and stuff. And I think referral work is fantastic, or word of mouth is just because that trust is kind of already there. And you're there just building on top of that. So
awesome.
yeah.
Good job, Alicia.
I I don't want to say too much because we have the exact same stuff. I think that one of our biggest problems that we face as realtors is managing expectations and emotions. Buying and selling a house is an emotional process, and there's a reason why you're doing it. So we have everything from the clients that are like ready to go to the ones that might take a really long time, and our patience is definitely exercised.
So what's the problem?
Well, so the problem is how do you get, so I currently have a client right now who's been ready to list for months, and he keeps pushing it out from June to now it's October to who knows when, right?
So their problem was they wanted to buy a house. Is
They
that
want to list, they want to sell their house
They
and
wanna
buy in another place, yes.
okay?
But he-
So they want to move. That's
but
their
he
problem.
doesn't have any sense of urgency. So he owns his house outright. He has no sense of urgency whatsoever. So he's a musician, so he took the summer off.
So the objection is he's not in a hurry. Is that
Yeah,
that's
I guess that's what you would say the objection
yeah.
is.
And so
how do you get them off the fence?
Mhm.
Yeah, but he doesn't have one. Literally.
well, that's easy.
I know.
Would you say that's a problem with commitment?
I've already told him the house has been on the
Yeah.
market
But is
for
that a
like a
problem with
year.
committing, right?
Yeah. So we face several different challenges. It just comes from a high level of always having to manage it. Each client's different. I think everybody can understand. And it's always about how do you manage their expectations, how do you manage their emotions, right?
Yeah. So the
objection is them. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
right. No. So yeah. What's our solution? Anybody have an idea on how to help? How do we create that as a referral
Yeah.
or as a close?
I don't know. I mean, so that's what my question was. Would that be a problem with commitment? And I mean, I've been in this. I've bought and sold houses before. I mean, I was selling with a real estate agent. And what got me to move was the timing of the market, and to say, you need to get it in now because the winter time is the worst time. And people, they want to pay less for that house.
Oh, I know.
That fear of missing out.
Yeah, I'm sure. But no, I'm not your average
No,
musician.
I know.
Like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Possible. It is possible.
Awesome.
Are prices gonna drop soon, and that's gonna be the sense of
That's just,
urgency?
I think, a common misconception that has been put into clients that the prices are going to drop. And then I think that another one is that the rates are going to go down further. And we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
The thing is, you just don't know.
So-
So it's
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
educating.
Right. So it's education and relationships that we're gonna have to build going forward.
Yeah, educating them, showing them, there's no,
How we got all the real estate folks in the line.
that says that the prices are gonna go down. No,
Yeah.
so I was
And so
showing
it's-
all of the ads and stuff like that. And
Building
right
relation-
now, since the prices are as low as they're gonna be, and the rate is at least decent now, get them in and tell them you can refinance later.
Buy now, you buy later.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's like, done it.
Right. What'd you have, Lucia?
You've done it all though, right?
So
Marry the house.
you're bringing up this as a problem, so you want the sale quicker than he wants to buy. Is that
Because he's only had his eyes.
actually a problem? Because you still have the client, you still in the pipeline. What's the problem? You don't get the
He
financial
actually
gain.
uses the place that he's had his mindset on.
Mm. Yeah, and that's the tough. So that's where you got to create that fear of missing out. It's going to be an education process. Marie.
Well, I think this is an objection, but the other day I was talking to a friend and she's like, yeah, my parents need to move, but you don't want this house. And I'm like, really, why not? They've lived there their whole lives and my mom's a hoarder. And I'm like, perfect. That's right in my wheelhouse. Hire us. I know exactly how to deal with that. And I told her, I got an estate sales company that'll come in and pack up everything. They'll organize it. They'll sell it. They'll throw away what you don't need.
So the problem is she's afraid to open the can of
She
worms.
doesn't want to let anybody in that house that she knows because she's embarrassed.
Hmm.
And I was like,
So many.
you're speaking my.
She's like, hey, I'm going to send somebody in. I don't know. Yes. Oh, good. Relation. Yeah. Make it relatable.
Yes.
Expressing a little bit of vulnerability,
Yeah.
things
Like,
like
I've
that. If you
seen
know
it.
somebody's
I grew up
embarrassed
that
or
way.
ashamed,
Yeah.
Great idea. Yeah. You relate it personally.
well, you can be trusted.
Yeah. And it's a
You
true
trust-
story.
you
Because
trust her.
and they know you're not going to judge.
Well, that.
Because you have that situation. Yeah.
What I've heard at least is that if you express something of trust to somebody, it's like psychologically almost impossible for them to not trust you back.
Yeah.
Like if you show that you trust them by sharing something like that or whatever. I don't know.
All right. Yeah. Being vulnerable. It shows you open yourself up. That's awesome. Ta-da.
Mine is a messy transaction where you've got, you're trying to do a closing and you're asking different people different questions, and when they write back, they only give you one answer to 4 questions that you've asked and things like that. And so you send them the other 3, questions again and ask them, and they just never get back with you.
So is that their problem or your problem?
Well, it's gonna be their problem.
So what we're looking for, what's
So my problem is
a problem that you solve? That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Problems that you solve.
that we solve is if we figure out that they're not really going to do emails or whatever, I pick up the phone.
Mhm.
I think that personal.
So their problem is communication and you solve it. Is that?
I'd like to submit maybe that their problem is that closings are hard to coordinate, and you're willing to do that stuff for them.
Yeah, well, and because I think, I've had the girls in the office are like, well, I've emailed them, 70 times, and I pick up the phone and they're like, you called them and you got them right away and you got the answer. How did you do that? I said, I picked up the phone. So, it's just,
Yeah.
it just, I don't know, that's common sense.
Those are usually people over 50. They'll check.
Right.
I check when I answer, oh wait, you answered? Are you a real estate agent? Yeah. Oh, no one else ever answers. Sorry. I have a lot of time on hands.
It's really dying with phone calls, I mean, it's, people are like, no, text me.
Right.
Okay, sure, hopefully you respond in a reasonable time, because I'm gonna be there 10 minutes.
And then the other one that I became, was not enough offices. We're a small title company,
Mhm.
so we have an office here in Fort Collins, one in Denver Tech Center, and one in Auraria. Well, so that's some of their objections is, you guys are small, I'm like, but mighty.
Uh-huh.
And I tell them, we don't charge to have notaries go to people's houses, close them. I'll drive,
Okay.
I'll go do closings, I'll do whatever.
You make it happen.
Make it happen
Good.
for the people.
Pain I problem I solve is, oh shit, I owe the IRS money, or oh shit, I have to file taxes. The biggest objection that I get is cost. I think a lot of businesses think that they are not either ready for the cost, they can't handle the cost, they have no idea how much it's gonna cost. And I just have to remind them that bookkeeping can cost like as low as 3 dinners a month. You go out for dinner 3 nights a month, $100 a night.
All right.
You can afford bookkeeping.
Good. So exactly what we're trying to get to is that we identify the problem that you solve, and the objection is so that when we ask someone for that service, when we're going, hey, a buddy of mine, I'm like, dude, you need a bookkeeper. I need to know the objections. Like, dude, it's way too expensive. Now you just gave me the solution. I let them, dude, it's less than a cup of coffee a day or whatever. Yeah. So good. That's what we're looking for. That way, when I refer you, I can overcome the easy objections that I hear immediately that are going to be common to what you do. So that's what we're looking for. So perfect. Perfect example.
So it's mostly like residential services. So the problem or need is some sort of home renovation. So if it's an exterior, there's fading peeling paint, or they have an HOA that needs, or it could be interior, they just want to change the paint color, they want to remodel, so then, the solution is home restoration, coming in, I come in and I take care of the problems or whatever.
So the problem is they need paint because it's bubbling and peeling.
Yep.
And what's a common objection you have?
I would say, it's mostly it's price, but there's a lot of things that come with that. So it can be, they want to talk to their spouse. So, and that's part of, I always try to get both, if it's people together, but that can be an objection too, is it's like, oh, well, our schedules are opposite, so it's impossible to get us all together. And then it's kind of tied into like, they want to get several estimates to be able to just like, compare, and a lot of the times they're looking for the lowest price. So that's where, I have to build the value into the estimate
Right.
and the trust.
So part of the concern we hear there is you're assuming they're looking for the
Right.
lowest price.
Yeah.
So part of it, if we get out of our heads and we don't have that thought process, you put positive out, positive comes back in. So don't make it your own objection into their objection, or we'll talk about you don't sell out of their wallet.
Yeah.
But good. And so you're overcoming that objection.
It's like the need satisfaction selling cycle. So I kind of help identify the need and explain how I'm going to fix it.
Okay.
So the problem that I saw was people don't have enough money to do what they want to do. They need more money.
Yes.
That's pretty simple. They don't have enough money. They want to say so. Then that boils into how do I get more money, right? And so they don't have enough, they need more. So that's where I come into the picture. Their biggest objections to working with me are they don't understand how the market works, they don't understand how investments work, so that leads into trust. And then a lot of people, the engineers in particular, think, well, I can do your job better than you can. And so it's kind of those three things that, being uneducated about how it works, not trusting, and then thinking they can do it themselves. And so, I've got information that's, if you don't work with an advisor, your returns are, you don't have a plan to get to your goal. And it takes time. It takes patience, it takes discipline, and not working with an advisor, working with yourself, you can get 2 to 3% return.
So the problem is not having money, but that's going to come across as another problem, right? How do I put my kid to school? That's going to be a problem we probably hear.
Yeah.
And then it would be your objection to overcome it. Hey, just a couple $100 a month, or that may be an objection on how you're going to pay for school or whatever it is.
Home, retirement.
So those are what we're going to hear specifically, because a lot of this is the objections we're trying to overcome for you. So what am I going to hear? And it's going to be that it's not maybe I don't have enough money, or, oh my God, I got to put my kid through school in 10 years or 4 years, or.
I don't have enough money to work with an investor.
Right.
That could be it as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people just don't understand that retirement, that they're going to eventually age out of the workforce and they don't have enough money to survive. And whatever, we'll deal with that.
So that's the objection. So how do we overcome it if we're trying to look for a referral for you?
The way to overcome that is,
It can be as little as $50 a month, or what's it look like?
Right. Working with me, at a 1.5% annual fee for all assets under management can double or triple their returns if they try to do it themselves. That's one way.
So keeping it, so usually we want to keep this as simple as possible. So when we're talking to folks, because we're not going to know that. Hey, is $50 enough a month enough to save? Shit, dude, it's a start, right? I'm going to get you there. I'm going to get you there, and you're going to average 10%, because that's the average of the S&P, right? But you tell them over the last, was it 50 years? The average is just below 10%. So that's a big deal when you're putting in 50 a month and you're at whatever 600 a year. So the overcoming is, dude, you don't have to start with $1,000 a month into saving, and you work with folks with zero net worth or $1 billion, right?
Sometimes,
All right, Alyssa.
Pains and problems, kind of like Shannon, just uncertainty, lack of knowledge when it comes to buying houses, time, money. A lot of people want their own fixed before they sell.
So give us one problem you solve.
So one problem I solve is just having knowledge and benefits of
What's their problem?
their
Yes.
Outgrown their home. Right.
And you solve it by providing those solutions. Hey, here's the market in your neighborhood. This is what things are going for. So knowledge, right? What's an objection you're going to have?
Time, money,
So when,
lack of knowledge.
yeah, that, I think we're getting on the same page. So you've got the problem, and then the objection that I would hear if I was talking to somebody about that. What is the objection that I would hear so I could overcome it?
That they don't have the time.
They don't have the time to list their house or look for a house.
Or look for a house, or they don't.
So you can decrease that time.
Qualify for a loan.
So one problem. If you stay with one problem, because these are one of those things, if we do one problem at a time, you have one solution or one objection, and then we can solve it. If you put 50 out there, we're gonna all be scattered everywhere, and we will never get to a solution.
Knowledge, having knowledge and knowing.
So problems, they don't have the information.
Yeah. I think the objection is more like, do you have the knowledge to solve my issue?
To solve their problem.
To solve my
Yeah.
or a relative lack of knowledge.
Perfect. That's all we need. Perfect. All right, Kurt.
So my small business is local thing.
Oh yeah, I forgot you came in. Yeah, let them know.
I did come late, sorry.
Yep,
And
you're good.
also, and we do peer advisory, so like kind of think about 2 parts board meeting, 1 part support group or a small business owner. And so problems we solve, it's the biggest one is loneliness. When you're the decider and you're trying to make important decisions, and especially when people get their paychecks from your small business and stuff, you don't want to mess that up. So uncertainty, but also loneliness within that. And so loneliness.
Isolation.
Yeah.
There's nobody you can talk to about it because everybody's your employee or they're not on your same level. They're not going to understand the issues I go through every day.
Yeah, you can be like, my margins have really been slipping.
To your employee or
I'm not sure how we're gonna make payroll next month.
or to somebody working at a bank, they're not going to understand the stuff that you're going through as a business owner. So we get peer advisory.
Yeah, so that's kind of the notion is they act as each other's advisors, and then I was a banker for a long time, and so I try to pick people with different skills so that they need these different skills in. So the time and money is the biggest objections, obviously, but that's kind of normal, but the reason we get those objections, I think, the reason is what's the benefit?
The value.
What will be the ROI if I choose to spend $400 a month on this membership? How can I know that that's going to come back to me in terms of more profit or more good decisions faster or less trips to my therapist or whatever? Fewer divorces, all those things.
So how do you overcome that? Yes.
Overcome it generally, storytelling is some of it. Sharing anecdotes of businesses that have really seen strong change and benefit from a membership like this. And I've got, authorization to tell some of those stories, but it's, that's their story. Well, what about for me? And so the continuing objection is that, how will I know it's going to work for me?
Right. Good.
I don't know the answer yet. Really. Trust me.
Yeah, I got you.
Love it.
Any collaboration is better than no collaboration.
Well,
Yeah.
that's very true. Yeah. And so that's one of the, sometimes the time and money, I'm like, well, can we agree that having like an advisory board would be good for a business in general? And then it's like, but how much time and money do you think it would take for you to put together an advisory board
Of your
for your
own.
business and buy them lunch every month and whatever? Like if it's less than what we charge, they should probably just push the easy button, let us do it.
Awesome. Thank you.
I work with 360 Fire and Flood Property Restoration. So problem we come across many, but I'll narrow it down. Unlivable living spaces, as like mold or something. An objection could be like, how much is this going to cost to remediate, and the time frame, how long is it going to take for you to fix this? Compared to our competitors, we're probably going to go out.
Shop.
Yeah.
Because you said the word mold and insurance won't cover it now.
Unless you terminate.
Yeah.
Just water damage or say something like that.
Biological growth.
Secondary damage.
Yeah. So the problem is that they have mold in there. They have a biological growth in unlivable. All right, they're in a space they can't live in.
Yeah.
So you can solve it.
Right.
So you have the solution. What is an objection you're going to get to that? It's going to be.
Cost, like how much it's going to cost and how long it's going to take.
So how do you overcome that?
I think something great that we do is we have people in our company that have worked with other companies, so it's easy for us to know how maybe Servpro is going to price it out with Xactimate, blah, 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 and we have the same thing, and we can try to come in just under that and maybe get that bid, something like that, you know, and also partner with people, not just say, we're going to do this service and not really care. We want to make sure they're satisfied,
Right.
you know, once we've done the job.
Okay. So getting over that cost is knowing a little bit of the competitor and then taking care of them. So usually if you're going to overcome it, if it's a cost issue that you're going to overcome, you need to go back on your value, right? Your value for what you're doing for your service. And sometimes the value of doing your service is going to make you different is what's your competitive advantage in that? What do you guys do? Are you making sure the yard's mowed? I don't know. Right? Are you making sure the entire building is put back together and you're bringing actually a secondary visit after the job's done, which most don't because there's so much work going on, right? Most restoration companies aren't coming back out a month later to make sure it's all good.
Yeah, because a common complaint I hear when I'm trying to sell our business to people or partner with others is like, well, how do you do this or that because Servpro came in or Belfor, whatever other competitors in this restoration business have come in and they have guys that do a job, but then they don't have anybody coming and making sure it's done right. And then we're left here and we paid all this money. And
no project manager. You got subs just running amok and doing what they want, and messing up the.
Would it be like that too? You know, so that's I get that question a lot.
Awesome.
I think you're kind of talking like, believe it or not, we're better and price competitive.
Right.
Big guys. Yeah. Is kind of what I'm hearing.
For what we do in our follow-up. I like it. Yep. Yeah, where we've created that trust and had that referral come across. Let's go sweep through 360 over here.
I know. So try to keep it interesting.
Well, so you make it something different. There's always, right?
These guys are, they run the mitigation side.
Mm-hmm.
Christine's business development, and I'm a property manager. And so
okay.
one of the things that I'm going to kind of add on to what Christine said, and one of the things we deal with is property loss and displacement. So if there's a flood, if there's a fire, if there's mold, if someone, had, some type of situation where they could not live in the house, the way that we try to address that is get in there, do the mitigation, and start reconstruction immediately and do it quickly, efficiently, on schedule, and staying in touch with the clients throughout the whole process. Not just throwing subs in there and just forgetting about it and going to other jobs. A lot of people just get their foot in the door. So once they get that approval, that contract signed, they sit back and they go get another one and another one. And I'm a retired contractor, and so I dealt with that with a lot of people who have that. Where like I hired a guy, 4 months ago, and I gave him $2,000, and in that case, I would actually help them get their money back. But I would tell them when I could start the job, how much it was going to cost, how long it was going to take. And this is the same type of situation.
So you're going to overcome it by, when we start the project, we're going to stay there and finish it, not jump on 20 others.
That's right. And,
Good.
And we'll stay in touch with the insurance companies so that everybody knows where we are with our schedule and progress and time to close, finish the job, and get our certificate of completion and get them back in their homes.
That's perfect.
Guys are stealing all my stuff here.
You got some goodies?
I think that one of the big problems we're seeing is, back on is the trust issue. Like you said, it's you go into someone's house and they're like, well, my neighbor hired this company and it was a terrible experience. So you got to build that trust. And
so now you got a problem and an objection all wrapped in one.
Objection, absolutely. And I feel like one way to overcome it, is I be transparent as possible. Be like, hey, I know your situation sucks. I'm here to sympathize with you, but this is how we're going to take care of it. I'll break it down from the start to the finish and hold their hand. That's what people want, is just comfort.
Yep.
So I think that's big is the trust, and just gaining it. I think educating people is great, especially if you have experience and you can talk about the process, you know, and be like, this is why we're gonna do, you know, A to get it to B, so you don't have a problem with C.
So creating information to overcome the trust issue. Awesome. The last one here.
Yeah, hi everybody, I'm Patrick. I run a company called Pattern Permaculture. It's a style of landscape design and build. And when clients, or when I'm talking to a client, they typically know they want to do something different with their yard, or they don't want their lawn, they need to do something else with their stormwater on their property, they want to grow more food, or be more self-sufficient on their property. But they don't know what it could look like, what it would cost, and what's possible. And so that would maybe be an objection for doing the installation, but for me that is the sale of the design, because I can say I can get this done for you and make it real clear. We'll take this long, do a design, and then you'll have what you need to go for.
Perfect. So you've got both sides. So you're kind of using what we have up here. You're simplifying the process. And that's truly, the easier this all is, the more likely you're going to close the sale. So you've got to simplify it. When we start, you've got to have trust. You get that. If you're getting a referral, that's where the trust is coming from. Being able to overcome those objections, or even when I'm referring you, I can overcome them for you for the ones we talked about today. Next is creating urgency. In order to close a sale, you create urgency. There's got to be a reason we're doing it now, right? Like we were talking about a little bit earlier. Hey, it's coming up on winter time. Nobody wants to move in the winter. It happens a lot. Nobody wants to buy a home necessarily in the winter if they don't have to. So create an urgency, a fear of missing out. What am I going to lose if I don't do it right now? Rates are going to go up. Rates are going to go down. The house price is going to go up. So what is that sense of urgency?
For us, the urgency would be like, you don't take care of it now, the dangers of this mold growth is going to be exponentially higher, blah, blah, blah.
So cost is going to go up. You're going to get sick and die.
The hole in your roof is going to let nature.
Sure. So that, yeah, you were right on. That urgency is you're going to die. No, dude, I'd be one of my sales points if I was on your guys' team. All right, next you're going to make sure you're going to ask for the sale. So a lot of times we just don't ask for the sale. So we get through this whole process. You spend all this time, you're overcoming objections, and you don't go, all right, dude, where do I sign? You have to ask for the sale, because you let them go, oh, I'm going to think about it. Hey, tell you what, let's think about it right now. And this is where we're going to jump over to the type of client, because there is a client that's not going to buy right now. They need to talk to somebody. It needs to happen later. They need two people involved, or they're just a thinker. They want to take off and think about it for a while, which is okay. Some of those we have, which are the impulse clients. They're going to sign right away. Dude, you said you can fix it? Dude, here's my signature. Come fix it. So we got to know which client you're dealing with to know how to proceed and how to ask for that sale. And then make sure your process is simple. The harder it is for me to buy something from you, the less likely I want to buy it, because I get too much. I don't want to click through 5 web pages and then click on your Square site and then click on your class you're going to teach, and then I have to go hunt down my card and put it in. Part of the reason you'll see on the sheet in front of you, you try to make this simple as possible. That QR code on the bottom right of your sheet, that's for my next class in 2 weeks, October 9th. I made it simple. You scan it. It's a $40 class that goes for $25 if you sign up by the end of today. That way, it is a simple process. It's on your phone. Urgency, you do it today or the price goes up. So you put all these things in play. And it's not just one, it's everything. And then we're going to follow up. What if they didn't do it? What if they didn't buy from you? What's your follow-up process? How does that look? For those of you who've taken this class before, you get an email, and then probably 5,000 social media posts that I tag you in to come back to the next class if you didn't sign up already. And you'll get that through time. So you've got to make this simple. You've got to have a follow-up process. And dude, those two we suck at. Sometimes it's your company that makes that process not simple. And sometimes you need to think out of the box to make that simple. How can I just click one thing, scan one thing, and have the sale done? Or have that meeting? How do I easily find your schedule, Marie, if I can't talk to you? Can I go to your website and click a button and schedule a meeting with you for you to talk to me about real estate?
Yes, that'll happen.
That will happen. So it's happening. Make it simple. If you make the process simple, more people are willing to do it and commit to it. And make sure you do that follow-up on anything. A referral is a billion things. A referral can be, you left a review on my site, right? I need to follow up with that. I need to let you know, thank you, I got it, I appreciate it, see you later. So follow up with every testimonial that you get. Follow up with every share that you get on your social media pages. That's follow-up. I want to know and let you know that I saw you did that for me. Thank you. Yes. This morning, I followed up with you immediately. What is it, 6 or 8 a.m. or something? Yes.
Do you ever follow up with a lost sale? Say you didn't get the sale, they didn't go with you. Do you ever follow up with them again?
Yeah, it depends. So you didn't get the sale, you went, you pitched it to them, nothing happened. What do you do?
I've done that before as a contractor, when I put a lot of work into trying to do the job, and then, I called them up and I said, hey, I was just curious, as to why you didn't choose me. And a lot of times it really had nothing to do with me, but just out of curiosity. The same things I'd ask people, how did you hear about me?
Yeah, it's good to know.
So I just never had a problem with that. But
Collect.
As a contractor, I didn't have thousands of customers. It was usually, 4 or 5 at a time. So it was no big deal. Like, hey, is there anything I could do differently, or just to try to educate myself, so that the next time around maybe that was addressed before. But
Well, that's exactly.
I did that with a client who, well, is a client now, but they were interviewing me and then they went with someone else because they were charging less to sell. And they had a horrible experience. And then they went to sell their condo and they chose someone else because they charged less and they had an even worse experience. And they hired me to buy, and they still praise me like I'm the best realtor out there.
Awesome.
Like, see?
Right? Just took you 3 times. Yeah. You're scary. Maybe that's what it was.
But I kept reaching out. How did it go?
Right. Good. And if you didn't reach out and follow up, you wouldn't have got that 4th job in. So good. That's.
I was just talking about this, but that's one of the hardest part about our job is like continue to call them, and you don't hear from them 2 or 3 times. Like
somebody else.
Yeah.
So usually they're like, at what point am I annoying them? And it's kind of like, I guess, just annoying until.
Right. So there is different thought processes everywhere on follow-up. At one point, I heard someone say you need to follow up 150 times in a year.
With one
Yeah.
person, one contact?
Yep.
Won't they hate you?
I would block that.
So what? So it depends on. So we all say that, but what's a follow-up?
Facebook, it can be anything.
Comment, like, a card.
Mailing them a card.
A card with handwritten. So when you start to think about that, then that 150 doesn't seem like so much. It still seems outrageous, but it.
I've never gotten a handwritten card until I started, in real estate. And when I got my very first one, I was like, yeah, they will my name on it. And it made me feel so good. And so that's something.
I always look at those and feel it to see if it was actually.
I
really do.
I always look for the return address and like, yeah, this is someone from New York.
So you go through. All right, so now we've got the follow-up process done. Now we got to figure out, so obviously it's not 5 customer types, it's going to be 2. So these are the kind of the referrals we're getting. Is it going to be a new client? Is it a potential client? Is it an impulse client, a discount client, an angry client, or a loyal one? And that doesn't even
matter knowing the difference of the types of.
How do you overcome objections for each of them? How do you treat them individually? And each one's going to be different. Because there's the way you treat an yes, sir.
Is that potential one more of like a referred one?
Yeah, like a third-party referral.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
A new lead's one's just going to come in that's purchased from you. The potential is a lead is.
A new is just kind of a random.
Yeah.
So would it make sense that if you're working with a customer who's a discount customer, you make up for that with the impulse customer?
That you offset, you have 2 of them. Yeah, you've got the impulse that comes in.
Takes, you do it at this cost, and then you got your impulse buyer, and you're like.
So, yeah, right? So we can jump to that. So impulse, they've already done their own research. They know you've got something new out, and they're going to buy it no matter what it is. If you've got a cool contract, you're going to take care of their building. They're going to sign up. Yes.
So part of, and this is kind of selfish to take this question, but I think it's relatable. we don't necessarily, I can't necessarily put somebody in, like our process is intentionally slow, where you've got to like meet the facilitator that you might go to, and then you face potential rejection by the group that we're targeting. And so there's like, but we want the group to be able to kind of own and curate its own membership. So we give them that veto, so we don't put any rejects in there.
Yeah.
And so I've set up this intentionally slow process, but I lose a lot of people in the process that don't even come to the chapter. I think it's a combination of intimidation and lack of urgency.
And that'd be more of your potential client? Is that what
yeah, or even sometimes a refer,
yeah, which is the potential.
The new or the potential, either one of those sometimes.
Yeah.
People are pretty interested.
If it's the new client, that means they've paid you.
Oh,
new means they paid you. But potential, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So
the new could just be the potential could be referred without any trust.
Yes.
Or with trust, or not referred at all. They just don't want you to.
Yeah, exactly. So the difference is, so when we come into your new client, generally this is where you want to work in what is your onboard process. So new clients, you need an onboard process. What does that look like for you? So every new client you get, hopefully you already have a set of standards that you're going to follow. How do they know what you do? What does that look like? So I'm a new client. I just signed a deal with you. It means I've given you money. Now what are you going to do? How do you reassure me on what I've got? A brand new client coming in. So there's got to be some process you go through. How do we put them into the system? Make sure we're following up with them, right? It's an onboarding process. Do you introduce them to, in my world, their technician that's going to be coming in the day before, knowing they already purchased their carpet cleaning or detailing? Do I introduce them to their tech? Do I explain to them, so in the beginning, what it is, what it looks like, what's going to happen? Because if there's something, if I don't do it in the beginning, if I don't explain to them and set the expectation, then all I'm doing is setting them up for excuses at the end. So set the expectation. Dude, your carpet's not going to look brand new. That stain's not coming out of your seat. If I set the expectation, they know that. And at the end, dude, understand, hey, it looks way better than it did. Where if we don't say anything, we don't set the expectations, they don't know what to expect as a new client. Then when they come get their car and they're like, holy shit, why is there a stain still in here? Dude, oh, yeah, stains don't come out. If you tell it at the end, that's an excuse, and then nothing good ever comes out of excuses. Then you're just fighting. Now you've got an angry customer, so you just switched them into a bunch of slots. And
Experience exactly what you're saying, where when the carpet was done, they're like, oh, that stain will come out, and that stain will come out.
and you're like, shit, why'd I pay you to clean the carpet? Well, you said it in the beginning, dude, these stains aren't coming out. You're going to have traffic areas. It's going to set the expectation. And then when it doesn't come out the end, well, you did tell me. You let me know before you got started. Dude, most likely these things don't come out. They've already been set. So this is your onboard. And what does your onboard look like? How do you set expectations for what you're going to do? Because if not, then at the end of the job, it's always excuses if there's no expectation set beforehand. So that is your new client, potential client. That's going to be your folks looking, maybe your potential prospects that are coming through. And now it's your job to demonstrate value so they become a new client. So how do you just demonstrate value in what you do, right? Realtors, I think they started forcing you to explain why